God took his time with Riley Green.
I'm dumbfounded.
Okay, Dan is not a jackass, although he did come out as Darth Vader after a game.
Notre Dame
right here, camera right here.
Notre Dame recruited me on accident.
What was worse, doing the fart on Monday Night Football or back of the end zone? Like, I don't know. Do we know?
I think about things as a fan.
Yeah.
I'm still a fan of country music. I'm like, man, would I think Jamie Johnson was cool if he was on the underwear model? I don't know. I don't know if I would or not.
I always say I started in stunts because my brother would just kick my on camera for 20 minutes and call it a movie.
Now he's on his right foot first. It switches leads. Mind frame goes in the middle of the track.
Come on, Louis, go.
Yeah, we're screaming around. Let's go!
Hey, y'all, it's Pat. We are going to close out 2024 with 2 best of Like a Farmer episodes. In today's episode, we'll focus on the laughs. If you're not watching on YouTube and only listening, we'll drop a chronological guest list in the description. So if you like what you hear, but you don't know who it is, check it out on the description. And remember, Like a Farmer episodes drop every Wednesday on YouTube or wherever you listen to your audio podcast. Thanks for following along. I mean, you're one of the part at some point, I don't know what part of your career, and I'm trying to figure out the other week about percentage of who's wearing a mask and who's wearing a cowboy hat. I mean, you were straight cowboy hat for mostly your.
Pretty much. My parents made me wear one when I started getting on like junior bulls.
Yeah.
And so I wore it till I was already in the PBR when I quit wearing it. And I'd wore it for a long time. I always told them when I turned 18 I was going to throw it away. But it more or less become a habit that I wore it. You know, it was just
Now, is that an ego thing? You don't want anybody, you don't want the girls in the stands saying,
No,
this is
it
wearing a
didn't.
mask, I don't wear a
Yeah,
cowboy
that
hat."
didn't have anything to do with me. It was
Yeah.
just, and when I was wearing one, not a lot of guys wore one. You know, there wasn't very many of them that did wear a helmet. And so I was kind of like the black sheep over there, had a helmet on and stuff. And it was more or less just habit. Like you grab your vest out of your rigging bag. I grabbed the helmet because I was so used to wearing it. Well, I was riding pretty bad one year and we were getting on practice bulls, and for some reason I didn't grab it. Like it was just kind of like I didn't know I did it. You know, I just grabbed my shit and went and got on, and hell, I rode one, and I mean he bucked pretty hard, and I rode him just dead easy and stepped off. And I said, man, that felt pretty good. I didn't even realize I didn't even have it on. I was like, man, that felt good. Somebody said, man, you look good. I said, man, it felt good. They said, you gonna quit wearing it? I was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, your helmet. I was like, I look up and I have my hat on. I was like, I never put it back on.
I like playing games on this show. So this game is called Questionnaire, and it's presented by Ag America. Ag America right here. This is my Ag America hat. You like this hat?
Yeah.
You kind of paused a little bit. You don't like my hat?
I'm dumbfounded.
All right, so with this game, it's called Questionnaire. I'm going to ask you questions just right off
Okay.
the top of your head. You just tell me whatever you're thinking, okay?
Okay.
You going Chevy or Ford?
Chevy.
Why?
All the way. They have good motors in them, and they last a long time. That's in the 1999 OBS pickup out there, and that's lasted since 1999.
Is that what you're going to be driving one day?
I'd like to, but I'd like to have an 87 Chevy pickup, the old ones.
The square body.
Yep. 87 or an 82 Chevy K30. A regular pickup bed, 2-door cab.
Huh.
454 motor.
Favorite country musician?
If he's still alive right now, C.W. McCall and Blake Shelton, those two.
So you're not holding any grudge on Blake on driving
No.
Kubotas?
No.
Okay. You seemed a little salty when you see that color orange, like I can see some fire in you, but...
Yeah, I'm not on board with orange. I can take Alice Chalmer, but I can't take Kubota.
All right. Do you like sports?
Football and basketball. Basketball team is IU, and football team for me is San Francisco 49ers.
San Francisco 49ers. Why them?
Because Joe Montana played on their team, and he played really good.
Jackson, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, you're 8 years old, but you're naming all these trucks and football players that are from like the 70s and 80s and 90s. Where do you get your education from?
Probably the people that have been doing it for a long time, probably. A good while, like my grandpa, my uncles, my dad.
That's fantastic. Appreciate you playing that game.
Yeah.
John Denny. 14 years,
Yeah, man.
224
Yeah, man.
consecutive starts.
Yeah.
And you're on the track too. I mean,
he's like 6'6",
and he's huge. And I like, not just literally, but I do have big shoes to fill. Like, he is one of the greatest to ever do it. And so our kicker, Jayson, was here with John for a year. John's last season with the Dolphins, Jayson was here with him. And so Jayson, like, to this day still razzes me and is like, well, you know, John would have run one more sprint. John would have done this. John would have done that. And he picks at me. But truly, like, he is a great person to model a career and model a work ethic after, because the dude was a workhorse. Like, our strength coach tells me all the time about, like, what John used to do, in his off time, and he used to just be up there crushing workouts all the time. The dude was, like, shredded. Like, if you look at pictures of John, he's like veins. He looks like Riley Green with shoulder pads on. Like,
That's great.
Plus maybe like 30 pounds. But.
How about Mr. Riley Green inviting all of us out to his farm?
Yeah.
Dude, Riley's the best.
Yeah.
He is the man. I was talking.
That's a man's man right there.
That's a man's man.
Just a specimen of a human being, too.
He is. And he knows it, too.
There's no question.
God took his time with Riley Green.
Yeah.
He took his time.
He did.
Taylor.
And Riley was a part of the building process.
Yeah.
He's that confident.
Not a whole lot of ass. Like, you want to get some squats in, because I was trying to find a flaw. I was like, he doesn't have a whole lot of ass, but everything else, I mean, Jesus Christ.
Even when you find something on the boy, like I was analyzing him from afar, and I saw his mustache, and I was like, that's a little too dark for his hair on top of his head. Like, something's not matching up there. I was like, I'm gonna get him with this. Hey, you put a little Just for Men in that mustache? He goes, oh yeah, man, got to. And the way he said it, I was like, no doubt. Like, you've gotta get that shit out of there, man. I'm gonna Just for Men my mustache today.
You have a recently new one, which is an underwear deal.
Yeah, now there are times when I stray from that a little bit.
And then, I need to show it to you, but so I post, you post the Gildan post, and obviously it breaks the internet. And then I write a comment saying, damn, I was wondering who they were going to choose after I denied it. And this comment got like 700 likes. It was great.
That's funny, man. We actually turned that deal down, I think, for 2 years. Just because I could not get in my head of me doing underwear.
You were working out a little more too.
I'm like, I think about things as a fan.
Yeah.
I'm still a fan of country music. I'm like, man, would I think Jamie Johnson was cool if he was an underwear model? I don't know. I don't know if I would or not. So it's
would I come on Pat's show if he was an underwear model?
So
I don't know.
I finally, when we got together talking this year, I said, man, tell me what y'all are thinking. And we came up with this idea, and the commercial they shot was funny. It was a little self-deprecating. It wasn't me just oiled up with underwear on, It was, and
a lot of people that would like that.
Yeah, and it was funny and tasteful, I guess. So we ended up doing it, and it worked out great. But yeah, I was not expecting to be doing any underwear modeling in my career. So you just never know, I guess.
You never know.
I owe Dan Mullen an apology.
Have you given him an apology?
I'm going to do it right now.
Boom, let's do it.
Yeah,
All right, go for it. Here's your camera right here.
I owe Dan an apology. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Dan Mullen, and I should never have said that in a way that would have got referenced back to him. Okay, Dan is not a jackass, although he did come out as Darth Vader after a game, and I came back with the response. In no way did I think that was going to have anything to do with him getting let go, and I sure hope it didn't. And then the comments after that. I was doing an interview on a Monday morning after the game, and really didn't. When you're like me and you kind of talk, you don't always weight your words as well as you should have. And if I had it to do over again, I wouldn't have done that, because I have a lot of respect for Dan Mullen.
Yeah, same. Coach Dan, there you go. Is it easy? Would you say it's easy to play the banjo?
It's not.
Okay.
It's not that easy, and I would consider myself probably the least musically talented out of the three of us, definitely. So it took me a minute to get going. I taught myself. We don't really have any.
I mean, where do you find a banjo
I want to start
teacher?
making guitar.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, in South Georgia, you would think, if anywhere.
I don't have my phone.
Exactly.
This might be like way out of tune.
All right, here we go. good. Like a Farmer tune right here. I do need like a new opening song.
Right? Hey, tell her to write a little banjo lick for you.
Yeah, do like a new chord, like a new something
Like
new.
just pick something that's
Write him a
not
little
copyrighted.
banjo.
Yeah, write like a little banjo, like a Farmer intro song.
Wait, let me try it again.
That's a good little jingle.
Use that. I don't think that's.
Needs to be longer.
Yeah, thank you, Lily.
Gotta get the scales.
How would you start the show? Like you would.
So we open our show by playing "I'm Shipping Up to Boston" by the Dropkick Murphys.
I love that.
You don't play it though. We got our electric guitar player to play it.
Yeah.
And our
play
fiddle
it quicker
player
than
does
I
this
can.
like harmony thing, which is fun because a lot of people are really taken aback, like they're playing that song.
Yeah.
But Ellie's funny too because Ellie will pick up Pal's banjo and like the way she plays it like a guitar. I can play it.
Like she can like.
I can play it like a guitar, which is
Here we go.
one of these.
She's pretty good.
That's good.
But she strums it like a. How are you doing that without picks?
Music theory right there for you.
There's a story going out there that I will confirm. Notre Dame,
Look right here, camera right here.
Notre Dame recruited me on accident. They went to the wrong high school.
Oh my gosh! What do you? So they just
At the time,
was there another Justin Tuck?
No, there's another Central High School. At the time, there were 3 high schools named Central High School in the state. Central of Tuscaloosa County, Central of Phoenix City is Central of Coosa County. And you can go back and check this if y'all want to reference it. It's different now because of the mergers of high schools and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was 3 high schools named Central. They landed in Birmingham, Alabama, I guess, and went the wrong way. And in Alabama, there's a highway called Highway 280.
Yeah.
If you get on 280 and go north and south of it, it'll literally take you right by my high school. There's a gas station literally right by our high school that basically they stopped at one day and they said, "Listen, we're looking for Central High School," and the clerk that night was one of my classmates, and she also was a statistician for our football team, and she was like, "Oh, they must be talking about Central High School. You can see the lights from the gas station." And she basically, I'm trying to cut some stuff out of the story because it'd be a long story.
But
basically, she listen, the gas station. I mean, it's big, small town Alabama football. The gas station is about to close. It's 6:55.
Yeah.
At 7:00, everything shuts down. She said, "Listen, if you wait 5 minutes, I'm cutting the show down, and I'll drive you to the stadium because there's no parking. Parking is a mile down the road."
Yep.
So anyway, they go with her. They go the back way to get into our stadium that literally let them park right behind our press box. They go down, they watch the game, start watching the game. Central of Tuscaloosa was they had a player named his name is LaMarcus Rowell. I think he transferred to Opelika after this, but he started out at Central Tuscaloosa. They were trying to recruit him. Their school's color was black and red. Our school was blue and silver. And sure enough, when we run out, they're like, that ain't the same color on the tape we were watching. And I think they said they reached over to somebody next to them who I was probably kin to.
Yeah.
And they're like, is this Central High School? And I was like, yeah, this is Central High School. And is this Central Tuscaloosa? It's like, nah, Central Tuscaloosa 2 hours north, my friend. So obviously they weren't going to make the game, so they just sat down and watched me play or watched us play.
Yeah.
They didn't know that I was even on the team. They didn't know nothing about me. And lo and behold, I had a pretty good game.
Dude.
Yeah, that's how they started recruiting me.
If you had to choose one, you going Gordon Ramsay or a Guy?
Gordon Ramsay all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it? Is it Guy? Is it Fieri or Fiari?
Damn.
I think it's Fury.
Fury. But you're going Gordon over Guy.
I'm going Gordon, man. Yeah, just because he speaks to this old school mentality that I feel it is slipping away. There is that generation of badass, hardcore mother effers that are just hardcore, and that's like, I miss that sometimes. I miss that, just that drive, man, and that crazy strive for like perfecting our art.
That's interesting you say that. So that's not a TV stunt.
No, that guy is real. Yeah, it's funny. He opened up next door to us, and what a guy! The guy comes in here, and all the young kids in the back.
They're probably freaking out. Are we on TV?
He's a big guy. He's tall, and he comes straight, rolling right through that door, goes right into the kitchen, introduces himself to every single buddy in the kitchen, and just says, "Hey, congrats on keeping your star." Come on, dude! Like, that guy doesn't have to do that. You know what I mean? For him to give a shit about these guys like that just means the world to me. Because he didn't come in, he wasn't here having dinner. He was just literally made time, and I can imagine that guy's schedule. I can't even imagine. Yeah. And he comes in here and takes a picture with everybody, congratulates, and I was just like, man, that's a real human being right there, man. As much as he gallivants around TV yelling and screaming, man, some of that's show, but some of that's just he gives a shit about what he does.
Growing up, acting just never even came across your mind. I mean, it was like you weren't in the backyard pretending you were Batman or Superman or...
I remember one time, I made movies as a kid growing up with my brother, like just for fun.
Okay, like YouTube movies.
Like just home movies, like home action movies. Like we would watch Boondock Saints and then just like go make our own version of Boondock Saints, or like Bloodsport. Like we were doing like pure action movies. I always say I started in stunts because my brother would just kick my ass on camera for 20 minutes and call it a movie.
You've got to have some great stories about that. I say this all the time because I have a great team behind me that does all this great due diligence about the guests that come on the show. I feel like I read something about maybe fireworks.
Yes, this always gets traction. I feel like it's never going to leave the internet, I feel like, which is fine. We would make our own. We didn't really have a big VFX or stunts budget in the early days of making movies at 8 years old. And so we did an action movie one time. I think we were trying to recreate like the opening scene in Saving Private Ryan, the D-Day battle. And so my brother, in all his wisdom, decided to tape a piece of cardboard, which is flammable, if you didn't know, to my chest, and then taped some fireworks to the outside of it. And then somehow, I guess, put a T-shirt on me or something like that to cover it so you wouldn't see, and then somehow lit it. And then I would charge up the hill, and then right as I got to the hill, the firework would explode and pop, and that would be me. That was our squibs in the early days. So that was...
And so
that's why bull riding, they were like, you did some of your own bull riding. I'm like, yeah, I did a bit. And everyone's like, wow, that's crazy. I'm like, well, I was getting blown up by my brother at age 8.
So what's like the craziest story you've heard from a Farmers Only member?
Well, this girl contacted me. She was in Ohio. And she said, hey, I want to thank you. I met my husband on Farmers Only, and we've been married, and now we got a couple kids. And I've been meaning to reach out to you for a long time, just thank you. And I said, so tell me about your story. And she went to Ohio State, okay? And she worked in the gym where, the big gym for the school people work out. And she said that her husband, that she finally met on Farmers Only, also worked in that gym, okay? Worked out all the time. So she said he probably walked by me 100 times over a long period of time, never crossed paths, never had a conversation. But then they went on Farmers Only and said, you look familiar, and then they found out they work out at the same place. But she said, thank you so much for starting the site, because she was engaged and she was a horse person, okay? Equestrian enthusiast, okay? Technically. So she said that her dream was to raise horses, have a place out in the country and raise her own horses. And she was engaged to a city guy. And when they were getting real serious and talking about where they're going to live, And she goes, well, I want to live in the country. I want to raise horses. And he goes, well, can't you just keep the horses in the garage? Okay. And she said, that was it. That was the moment where she said, this is not going to work.
City folks just don't get it.
Right. She said that was the end of that. That's when she went on Farmers Only to find a like-minded person. And now she lives out. He's a cattles and horses, right? They're so happy. They're happier than a pig, and they're really happy.
Hey, y'all, it's Pat with Like a Farmer coming on here to tell you, if you missed it, December 4th, my partner Tecovas dropped the work boot. Listen, we all know they have some of the best cowboy boots in the country, but now they going against the grain and creating this work boot, and that's what they do. They're innovators over there, and I'm really excited for this new product. I want you to go out there, check it out, click this link below, go get you a pair. Tecovas work boot is out now. Hey, y'all, it's Pat with Like a Farmer. Are you looking to add some local flavors to your recipes? Well, visit freshfromflorida.com today, where you can browse hundreds of delicious recipes that bring Florida freshness to your table all year round. Become a Fresh from Florida member for free and create your own menus. Save and send your favorite dishes and get exclusive access to monthly newsletters packed with fresh local recipes. I can promise you, you will be a favorite in your neighborhood. From the Florida fields to your fork, year-round freshness and flavor are just a logo away. Fresh from Florida, there's a sunshine in every bite. Hey, y'all, today's episode is brought to you by Ag America, your go-to financial partner for all things agriculture. As the largest independent financial firm dedicated to rural America, Ag America is changing the game when it comes to ag lending and leveling up finance options for farmers, ranchers, and landowners across the nation. And I'll let you know a little secret. The thing that sets this company apart from the rest is the people. They understand firsthand the unique needs of American farmers and ranchers because many of them grew up on farms themselves. They take a farmer-focused approach to finance, prioritizing relationships over transactions to help you build a stronger financial foundation for you and your family. So whether you're looking to buy land or secure working capital, Ag America has your back. Visit agamerica.com today to learn more and see how they can help you achieve long-term financial success. Because when farmers thrive, we all do. And you mentioned a bunch of these, I'm saying famous people that own bulls. Like, that's such a cool hobby because there's one, I've got a great team, been doing some research on you. Dana White's bull, Twisted Steel.
Right.
I mean, you rode him, right?
I did. I was the first one to ride him on tour. I don't know what it is about me. I think it's kind of becoming a more common trend, and I'm not mad about it. That some of the bulls that have been unridden for a while, I'm kind of the first one to ride them. And
hey, just put Keyshawn on the bull. You know, nobody's ridden, but he'll figure it out.
Right.
How was Dana White's bull?
Dana White's bull in Albuquerque this past season. I don't know much about this bull. I've seen him a few times. I know he bucks hard, but everything I seen, I liked. There wasn't anything dirty about him the way he bucks. He doesn't try to crap you off and do these weird moves that are really hard to get by. Going into the short round, you get to pick your bull. I had a decent pick, but not the best, because I had one around prior to that. And I'm looking at the list, trying to decide. I don't remember what bulls were up for availability at the time, but I'm like, that's me. I saw it and I just knew it was me. Go up there, pick that bull. Everybody's jacked up because they're like, oh, basically why are you gonna pick that bull, you know? Because there's other bulls in there that's been ridden and stuff like that. So I get everything tied in, palm my hand, starting to slide up nice and easy. And this is like an old JB Mooney move. JB did it all the time, like that's his moneymaker. He would always be offset away from his hand because those bulls fill you out and they would go the opposite direction. And you want a bull that goes into your hand because when a bull goes into your hand, you can make mistakes within that ride, but since it's the side that your hand's down, it's a little bit stronger. You don't have to ride off of balance as much. You can kind of muscle your way a little bit. So first jump up, I'm sitting to the left, and boom, right there, one jump around the right, up and down, and I'm just chewing them up. Every round, I'm just making sure I'm staying in the zone. And next thing you know, I'm feeling good, start kicking loose, start spurring, and once I get off, electric. Like, the whole building's going crazy. I'm jacked up. My dad's jacked up. My buddy on my team, Nick Tess for Canada, he's jacked up. And, like, those feelings are feelings you live for right there. Like, I can't explain it. Like, I mean, I guess maybe like it's like a kid, Christmas Day, you get the present you've always wanted kind of thing, you know? And
who's the most famous person you've ever hung out with?
Oh, hell, I don't know. He'll be at the bull ride tonight, probably. The most famous one.
Yeah?
Old Bob.
Kid Rock. Oh, Bob. I knew that. I bet. Yeah, I'm sure he's a huge fan.
He's pretty cool. He's the first one. We have a mutual friend's how I met him. And Clark introduced us. Well, Bob loves my boy Jagger because Jagger's blonde-headed and wild as wild comes. And after that, heck, he would just FaceTime me randomly. Well, then at first he thought about buying a PBR team. So he called me when he was saying about it. He said, hey, and I was still riding bulls. And he goes, if I was to buy a team, would you coach it? Because I don't know shit about it. And I said, you're damn right I would. And well, then he did, and he did the Kid Rock, the rock and roll rodeo. Mm-hmm. And but, you know, since then, we're pretty good buddies. So I asked him, I was like, hey, are you, I texted him the other day, I said, you coming to the event? He said, yeah, I'll fly back in Friday. He said, we'll be there. I said, you want to do me a favor? He said, yeah, what you got? I said, you want to come to the locker room and pump these guys up? He's like, damn right I will. I said, just call me when you get to the building. He said, all right.
Put it up, and then, you know, it got some traction. And got a couple months later, I got a call from my buddies like, hey, you want to come open up for Chase Rice at our farm party at Kennesaw State? And I was like, I've never played a full band show in my life, but I'm down. And I went back to that basement. We rehearsed all night long, and we got a band together, and they called up a guy named Brad Wagner, who's still my guitar player this day, and we became best friends. And we went the next day, and they paid us some beer, and we played 45 minutes, and it was pretty bad, but it was awesome. I had no idea what I was doing up there.
And you're opening up for Chase Rice, first ever show.
There's like, 600, 800 college kids out there just having a blast, and we were playing a bunch of covers, but that last song we played, Forever Girl, and everyone was screaming every single word.
I hit up Brian from FGL, and I said, I'm coming to Nashville. I'd been once. I'm coming. I want to come hang with the boys. And he said, perfect. So I get to the house in Green Hills. It was an old rundown just before Green Hills was really nice. And one of their buddies had gotten severe depression and moved back to Kentucky, so they had a room available in their house. And Brian was like, yeah, Tyler's already got a roommate coming in. And I said, okay, well, that sucks because now I really want to move here. And I had $100,000 to do it, so I had money to last a little while. And that night we went to Tin Roof on Demumbrian. Through whatever we drank that night, it was discussed, and we put together a plan. You know what? We'll figure out the other roommate thing. Go ahead and move here. So the next day I went back to Asheville, North Carolina. Told my mom I'm moving to Nashville. I got enough money to last a little while. And I moved into Brian and Tyler's house, and that was like when they were starting Florida Georgia Line. So I moved into them. They'd write songs, I'd watch, I'd hang out. Me and Brian would write a lot together. Me and Tyler would write a lot together. And that's how I learned to write songs with other people. And it was FGL, and then FGL turned into FGL.
Yeah, you want to talk about a good just people to be around when they're still in the growth stage. I mean,
yeah.
Those
they
guys
taught me a lot.
And TikTok, we keep talking about this. I mean, it's crazy. You can go on TikTok and I feel like Morgan's doing it a lot too, but just kind of teasing these songs coming out.
Yeah.
TikTok, and especially with this new AI shit, man. I mean, I was doing some due diligence on Dylan Marlowe over the past couple of days. Have you seen like on TikTok about how Shaq is a big fan of?
Dude, I've got so many texts like, dude, this is sick. I'm like, this is not real. Like
it got me for a little bit. Can we pull that up? Pull up. There's like a what is it?
Yeah, it's like Dylan Marlowe Vault. No, it's the Vault. Yeah. I don't know who it is.
There was one, it's like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Is like talking, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
dude, I would, whoever's doing this, thank you. It's like creating some like really funny buzz.
Yeah.
But I will just go on the record and say Young Gravy is not my dad. Shaq hasn't been to a show that I've seen, but he is invited. If you're watching this, I can get you tickets. I know a guy. Shania Twain's not my mom.
Another one.
It's pretty funny.
Dude, it's the only country set that Shaq plays is Dylan Marlowe.
My dad always wants me to do farming jokes, and I'm like, I always try to tell him, I'm like, you think that I'm gonna make farming jokes and you're gonna like them. It's like, if I make a joke about it, you're probably not gonna like what I say. Do you know what I mean? It's like, because I'm like making fun of stuff. So I try to be careful about it. I don't know. There are some stuff I'd like to talk about, but sometimes it's, I don't know. I've talked about helping my dad birth a cow, and I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes that stuff gets gross, and like, we had to like, the cow was like halfway, like the baby calf died, right, while they were giving birth, and it was like halfway out. And we had to, like, I think one leg was out, and we had to get it out of there, and we had to like, tie up like a fence jack that you use to tighten barbed wire, and tie it to and then kind of jack the calf out of there. I think there was a veterinarian there, but and it's just like, it's so wild. You're just out there, it's cold, and I gotta stick my hand in the vagina of a cow out here and try to pull a leg out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And but I think on the flip side, you have a platform to shine light on that type of lifestyle. It's hard to be a farmer.
So hard.
This is fucking crazy because our horse has such a big heart. So this is the last turn, right? Yep. So now we're coming. Now we're in the lead, but here comes Mind Frame, and it's a tough angle. But he ends up, there's an overhead view where he's a length in front of us. It's hard to see here, but Dornock switches leads. Now he's on his right foot first. It switches leads. Mind Frame goes in the middle of the track.
Come on, Louis, go.
Yeah, we're screaming around. Let's fucking go! And then he runs away from it at the line too. We go fucking ape shit. Boom. And the crazy part, Sierra Leone, who was the favorite, awesome horse, won the Bluegrass, got second in the Derby. He was coming for us. He just didn't have enough time. So awesome race, and once in a lifetime deal to win a Triple Crown race, to even have a horse in a Triple Crown race. I mean, it's like,
I got goosebumps just watching that. Right off the bat, Elvis Presley, man. I mean, where does the love come for the man himself, Elvis?
Well, I mean, it started, I grew up not an Elvis fan. Neither of my parents were Elvis fans. I grew up on old school country music. I mean, I grew up on my dad's records, my mom's records, which is like, being from Texas, George Strait, Alan Jackson was huge when I was a kid. That was those right. Like when I think of, music that is like nostalgic music for me, growing up, it's like Alan Jackson. That Under the Influence record had like Summertime Blues and Papa Top and all that stuff I just think of childhood as that. But when I was about 7, it kind of changed for me. And I was kind of it was kind of the perfect storm. I was starting to get into music. I was starting to want to play the guitar. I had an uncle who was a piano player, and I always looked up to him, and I kind of wanted to do that and would write papers. And when I was a little kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I want to be a rock star because they get to travel the world.
Oh, yeah.
But I knew, it wasn't serious by any means, but I saw an Elvis impersonator by total accident. This guy, Carlton Hurdle. I'm still friends with him. He's like 6'7". He plays the burger joint, local burger joint in my hometown. We were there by total accident, just eating there. And I'm looking at, we're just eating. And like, oh yeah, Elvis impersonator. And I'm just like, what's going on? I couldn't take my eyes off it. I was like, what? He's got the jumpsuits and the songs. And I'm like,
and how old were you at this point?
7. I was 7.
Because back then, it seems like every corner block, these Elvis impersonators, that was the thing. So I feel like I'm sitting in the damn booth with you. You see somebody be Elvis. It was just super cool.
Well, it's a wild phenomenon too. The Elvis thing is crazy. But I went home, and my mom explained to me that that wasn't actually it's kind of like, it's Santa or something. It wasn't actually Santa,
Hey, Drake, I got something to tell you. Okay, that wasn't Elvis.
Yeah, and so I'm like, I just started diving in and watching Elvis's videos, and like, becoming a fan of his. That was the first time for me, I think it clicked that that's what I wanted to do. Because I had watched, I grew up going to the Houston rodeo. That was big for us. My grandparents lived in Houston, and we would go every year, go see it. And go see like Randy Travis and Allyn and Dierks Bentley and stuff there. And that was the first time I saw somebody really entertain, watching videos of Elvis. And I was born 20 years after he died, but I still felt like he was somehow reaching through that screen and grabbing me and shaking me. So that was the first time I saw that. I went, that's what I want to do. I want to be like Elvis,
Hey, I just want to jump into it because, growing up watching you play ball, one of the few things that I remember is the sack celebration. Yeah. Where does that lights out sack celebration come from? So when I got my nickname in high school, my sophomore year, I knocked out 4 kids one game. And I had about 25 students come, run up at me and say, hey, you knocked those kids' lights out. And I just looked at them and said, hey, call me Lights Out. And that name, it just stuck with me, right? And so, matter of fact, when I got to school on Monday, I'm walking in there. It's pre-social media, right? Walking in there, and the kids were saying, hey, good game, lights. So they caught on, that fast. And that's why I'm going to get the tattoo on my right forearm. So whenever I got a sack or a big hit, I was pretending to kind of flip to the switch. That office. And so I did all this stuff, like I didn't plan it, right? It wasn't, a lot of stuff wasn't planned. It was like out of energy in a moment, and then it just came. And I just stuck with it, man. But it's one of those things, man, that just got people out their seats,
Who's the best bull rider right now?
Second to Dale Brisby. Yeah. I think, I'm a big fan of Kai and his attitude. It's so similar to JB's. Also Stetson, he's just the whole Wright family, they make it so simple. Execute the fundamentals every time. And Ryder is, I think he's the second oldest. It's Rusty, then Ryder, and these are Cody Wright's sons. And Ryder, they call him the Iceman. And if you were following with his career, his first in FR, he won the first 4 rounds in a row. And he just goes out and he just gets his mark out and spurs his broncs. And Stetson's the same way with bull riding. It's so black and white to them. And I think that Stetson's going to probably get the most world titles. And I could see him going over to the PBR, except that he loves riding broncs. And they don't have those over there. So he'll probably stick around the PRCA for a little while. Plus he made like $900,000 that one year in the PRCA, year before last. So that's pretty dang good money.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's pretty good money. So that's
not $7 million or anything like that.
Again, we're here for Monday Night Football. A lot of times when you're doing like live TV, there's stuff where you will like tape or prepare, like do a dummy practice of it. So some
They
segments,
rehearse the open.
right? So some segments you will tape. That's not often, or you'll practice stuff. So this was my first time doing Monday Night Football. It was first time doing anything with the crew that it was at the moment, producer, all that stuff. And we had practiced the open 35 minutes before kickoff, right? Like, hey, let's rehearse. And you're in the moment. That place is freaking electric in those situations. So like your juices are going. I was nervous as the day is long. And I feel like we're close to kickoff, but like, I don't know, because I'm just lost in the moment. And in my ear, I hear the producer say 30 seconds to tape. So I'm thinking in 30 seconds, we're taping something. He means 30 seconds till tape comes onto the program, like a tape.
And it was the big like
image and graphic
Monday
and all that
Night
stuff.
Football, like the jazz.
So that comes on, and I think we're taping, and Steve Levy, I think, kicks it to me or Lewis, and I start talking, and I stumble within 3 or 4 seconds, and thinking we're taping, not a big deal. We'll just run it back. I go, because I'm like, Josh, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And Levy looks at me and goes, and my producer goes, "You're live, keep going." And I was like, blah, 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 blah. And so I immediately knew like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a thing. And I peeked down at my phone within like a minute, and it's just the internet is having a field day on it. So
I mean, okay, just quick from my perspective. So like, I knew Dan was a little nervous, like probably sent him a text before the game, like, hey, you've got this, you're going to be great, blah, 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 like all good. This happens. I will never forget in my ear, like the stadium's crazy. I'm down on the field. We're live. Like,
it's unreal.
We had done this poot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, Dan, like what? This is 100% honesty. I have never been more nervous in my life than when I had to go on camera after that, because
I was less
nervous
to break. After it.
Yeah.
They go to break, and then it comes
you can
back
only
to
go
me.
up from there.
And I am like
Low bar.
I was like sick to my stomach. I'm like, I feel so bad because like I knew how much it meant to him, how hard he had worked. And I'm like, oh my God.
It's like running.
I thought I was going to screw. I mean, it was, then there was a big debate, like what was worse, doing the fart on Monday Night Football or back of the end zone? Like, I don't know. Do we know what was worse?
Yeah, we need to ask, what's worse, farting on live air or running out the back of the end zone, Dan?
Well, I don't know.
Got to choose one. What would you rather do?
I would probably rather fart on live air.
Yeah, than
run out of the back of the end zone. Yeah. That's a good answer.